Alright guys, the time has finally come to an end. Jason and Ray are leaving.
Goodbye hug. 2 months on the road.
Whatever. You need someone who can relate to the lifestyle.
Bye. Drive safe, guys. Go slow. Oh, you're gonna go for the off-road trail? Okay. Now I need to get the drone. Watch your bed rail.
Next day.
Alright guys, the time has come. Rebekah and Jared are heading out. We've been with them for 3 months, traveling all through Arizona, Utah, and Idaho. And it's a sad day. We're gonna miss you guys.
So sad.
Oh.
They are headed north towards Billings, Montana. There's a lot of mosquitoes out here. And we will be heading back to Southern California for a wedding. Jason and Ray left the other day. The Getaway couple, our friends that we were with for 2 months.
Yeah, they went to Michigan.
Yeah, so
the band's breaking up.
Everybody's going their separate ways. And there's a mosquito. Yeah, I don't know. It's just a bummer. It's just a weird feeling, you know. It's been like family, like realistically, for the past 3 months. Seriously,
I mean, we met Jared and Rebekah at Escapers Bash and went on a hike with them and went on a couple of little outings, but
did some off-roading.
We had barely spent any time with them until they decided to crash our little party.
Yeah, they messaged us and then that was that, and now we've caravaned for 3 months.
Yeah.
So.
Jason and Ray even, we've only spent a little bit of time with them in the past, even though we grew up in the same hometown. But yeah, we spent the past 8 weeks with them and we're all getting to know each other a lot better, which is awesome. We really feel like we've developed a little road family here.
Yeah. But now we're getting disbanded.
I'm getting bitten by a mosquito.
Let's go see what they're doing. Let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah, they actually are headed to a wedding in Colorado at some point, so kind of split up, but it's all good. I'm not crying. You're crying. I'm not crying. You're crying.
Sorry if it's small. We charged today because it was long day.
Bye. Give me a hug.
So fun.
Thanks for all your help with everything.
Thanks for stalking us.
Guys.
Drive safe. Bye guys. Bye guys. Bye guys. Sad day. See you soon, hopefully. All by myself. Don't wanna be all by myself.
I was gonna say that we're probably gonna get pulled from YouTube, but on this one I don't think so.
Wow.
You're just not hitting that note.
Oh,
You're just not hitting it.
You don't like me singing?
All right, guys. We're officially by ourselves now.
It feels weird.
It feels really weird.
I mean, we're happy to be going back to our hometown to visit friends and family there, but it's been a very memorable 3 months with Rebekah and Jared and Jason and Ray and James and Kelly, Rebekah and Dylan. Like, Ted and Jan, even everybody
Ted
that
and
we've coordinated with and casually met up with on the road.
Yeah. But anyways, guys, like always, make sure you subscribe, hit that like button if you like this video, and let us know your thoughts on caravanning.
What are your thoughts on this time that we've spent with Rebekah and Jared?
I feel like we have both learned a lot from Rebekah and Jared. I feel like they have a lot of wisdom. They're just barely a little bit older than us, but they're very smart, fun, loving people to hang out with. And it's been great. And we can't say enough great things about them.
I definitely agree with that sentiment. Stop, Zampa. You know, they've given us a lot of pep talks and a lot of encouragement and moral support through everything that we've gone through over the past 3 months with them. You know, everybody that we've met up with has helped us out in one way or another with advice and you know, it's just nice to spend time with people other than just your spouse. I mean, I love you, Jesse, but it's always fun to have experiences with more people, and things are more fun with friends. This has been awesome.
5 minutes later.
That is the end of our time caravanning with friends for the time being. We hope to meet up again in the future and caravan together, travel around. Adventures are always more fun with friends. Are you joining me on this video, or are you just gonna stand there awkwardly?
Oh, hey guys. So, we caravanned with some friends for 3 months, and then another group of friends for 2 months, and overall together for 2 months, if that makes sense. We were all together for 2 months.
We had a very good
then,
group of people.
For 2 months.
For 2 months.
But then we were with Rebekah and Jared for 3 months.
Yes.
So we want to talk to you guys about pros and cons of caravanning, because there are many pros and cons.
Yes.
And should we start with the negative or the positive?
Let's start with the negative and end on the positive. I always like to...
Alright, and on a high note.
Exactly. So, negatives. It can be difficult, if you're boondocking especially, it can be difficult to find spots that are big enough for everybody, unless you're in the Southwest, in the desert, you know, where there's tons of open space. But up here in Idaho and Wyoming, where we've been traveling, and even in Utah to some extent,
it's difficult.
Yeah, the spots are sometimes a little bit smaller.
You know, there's trees, there's brush, there's different things where y'all can't just pile into a spot. It's not, you know, it's kind of a big deal in a sense, because you're looking on aerial imagery, you're looking on Compendium, and it says, oh, it's good for a 40-foot rig, but not 4 of them. So there's a couple spots where we packed in, and a van. There's a couple spots where we packed in very tightly, but overall we made it work. We really didn't have an issue. And then the con with that as well, the same thing is, you know, it was a con for Jared because he was planning most of the location. So he was doing all the research, he was scouting it out, and essentially the weight was kind of on his shoulders, so that was a big con for him or anyone that has to do the planning. So another big con is scheduling differences. So we are early risers. We wake up at like 5:30 every day without an alarm. I know it's really weird. You don't need to mention it. It's just weird.
Our friends think we're crazy. Our friends think we're crazy.
We're crazy, I guess. But it allows us to get a lot done in the day. So if it's a travel day or a normal day and we want to do activities, that can be hard. So we wake up early, we'll do our workouts, we'll do all of our different things, and then lots of times by the time it comes to do a campfire at the end of the night, we're exhausted. And we've been doing our best to stay up later, but it's hard to wake up early and stay up late. Exactly. And then the same on travel days. We'll be like, okay, let's leave early in the morning. But what's early?
Yeah.
You know, 5:30 for us is early, and a lot of people early is 9.
Yeah.
So not a big deal, but it's a slight inconvenience.
Definitely. And you know, like he said, we were trying to stay up later to hang out during campfires, and that's when everybody wants to be social for the most part, because we're the weird ones that go to bed early and wake up early. So it was just it threw us off, and it made it hard because we were trying so hard to stay up and hang out and avoid that FOMO.
It caught up to us.
It did. So after a few weeks, we ended up just kind of doing our own schedule. but it was always nice to have the friends nearby no matter what. So another con is differences in pace of travel, and what we mean by that is some people like to travel at a faster pace than others. Our typical pace was 10 days in one location when we were traveling by ourselves. We were actually happy extending that to 2 weeks, or, you know, even up to 16, 17 days when we were with friends. Some people like to travel a little bit faster than that regardless. So we stayed in some places for 1 week, we stayed in some places for 2 weeks. We adjusted quite well. I guess we get bored after about the 11th day when we're by ourselves.
Yeah, when we're by ourselves, we tend to get bored. But when we're with friends, you can have more days of just hanging out, and it's totally fine. When you're by yourself, sometimes it gets boring, and you're like, let's go somewhere new.
And moving days together can be a bit challenging when you all arrive at the dump station at the same time and you all have to wait in line. So just little things like that can make it a little bit more challenging, and you've got, you know, a big caravan of a bunch of big rigs that you kind of have to...
Everyone has 100 gallons of water, so, you know, that's like an hour per rig to fill. Yeah. So that can be challenging, and it takes time. Maybe a staggered start to the dump station is helpful. Now on to the pros, and there are many.
Oh.
Take it away.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Take it away.
So, we said how moving together on travel days can be a con, but it's also a pro because you have multiple people looking out for obstacles, and we communicate via radios, so you know, you can talk with each other and tell someone when you're going to pull over here or there, or this it's a left turn here, or whatever. One
time leaving a dump station, we left our handle to our door open, and Jared was like, hey, not a big deal, but your handle to your door is open, which, you know, I would have saw it in the mirror, but he saw it before me, and it's just good to know. Helps with mistakes.
Absolutely. And traveling with a friend that has a Class A and tows a Jeep behind them makes it really easy for them to unhitch and scout a boondocking spot ahead of time.
That was huge. So Jared can get that Jeep off of the back of his Class A in probably less than 2 minutes.
Yeah.
He hops in and we all just wait and hang out, or sometimes we'll all pile into the Jeep and we'll go, oh yeah, this spot looks great. We'll leave a few chairs, especially if it's far from where, you know, the motorhome and the fifth wheels are to where we drove in. We'll leave some chairs, go in, and you know your spot is guaranteed.
And you could also leave the Jeep there to save the spot while the rest of us drove in. So that was a nice option to have as well.
We had, exactly. That's a good option.
Yeah. So it made it a lot easier to scout ahead, and whereas, you know, if you have a travel trailer, or for us a fifth wheel, you'd have to drop your trailer and ride your bikes in or drive all the way in to try to scout ahead, and then go pick up your trailer and hope that your spot is still open by the time you get back.
We're gonna get on those e-bikes. Another big pro is less decision fatigue. So sometimes when it's just the two of us, it's like, you know, where do we want to go? Like, what spot do we want to stay in? What activities do we want to do? And all that stuff adds up. Like, where should we get propane? Where's the best place to get fuel?
Which route do we take?
Exactly. So when you have 4 people, you have 4 normally or more people looking for activities, routes, locations, all that stuff we just mentioned. And it makes life so much easier because you're all you have that brain trust, and you're all getting in on that information together rather than the two of us handling everything. So that's huge. That's super nice.
It definitely, the decision fatigue of this lifestyle can definitely wear on you, and that's for sure a first world problem, but it's a real thing. You know, it can get overwhelming from time to time when you're constantly making tons of decisions all day long. So definitely caravanning with friends makes that a lot easier.
Here we are in the kitchen, and you're probably wondering, what does the kitchen have to do with caravanning? Well, one of the huge perks of having neighbors is you have multiple kitchens, which have multiple fridges, which have multiple pantries, which is great if you're like, oh, can I borrow a cup of sugar? Which that's not us, because #keto life. But if you need, does somebody have a side dish, or can I borrow some eggs or some flour or whatever? You have multiple neighbors that you can ask and are almost always like, yeah, sure, I have this or that. And the same thing goes for joint meals. When you're like, oh, let's do a potluck tonight. So somebody will cook this, somebody will cook that, and you all come together and you meet, and It's just a lot of fun, and it makes life easy and fun, which is great. All right, so another great thing about caravanning is shared responsibilities, shared errands, a safety net, I guess. So what's great is we have actually gone shopping together multiple times. We are the lucky ones that have a 6-seater Ram 2500, so everybody piles in because that's 3 couples of people. So we've gone, you know, long distances together, 6 people in the truck, just so we don't have to take multiple cars. And then it's also that whole factor of, oh, so-and-so went out on an errand. Oh, can you grab me this? Can you grab me that? Or, oh, can you fill my propane tank while you're out? And most of the time, no big deal, which is great. And another thing, too, is we boondock almost completely. So it's nice to have somebody to watch your rig. If you want to go out on a daily excursion, they can keep an eye on it for you, and it's just way less worry.
Also, if there's ever an emergency, you don't have to deal with it on your own. You're going to have your friends and your support system built in there to help you handle it. For example, when Blue paralyzed himself, we had Rebekah and Jared there to watch Zamboni while we drove 2 hours each way to St. George and the time for the vet visit. And it was like a 6-hour ordeal that we were away from the rig. So it was a really nice little safety blanket there to just have them, so we didn't have to worry about her. And last but certainly not least is the shared memories and shared experiences of traveling with friends. It's always more fun to go to new places and experience new things with more people, and it just really enhances the travel lifestyle. So that's probably our favorite thing about caravanning with friends.
I totally agree. It's doing any activity, and then at the same time too, like there might be times when Melissa doesn't want to come do something that I want to do, and then there's other people that can jump in and be like, oh, I want to go do that. So
exactly,
gives you a lot more options, more flexibility, and we're making lifelong memories with great friends, so it is great.
We hope you guys enjoyed this video and enjoyed watching us caravan with our friends for the past 3 months. As always, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel as well. It really helps us out. Thank you for joining us on our adventure endeavor.